Imagine your local gas prices doubling overnight and supermarket shelves going completely empty. This economic nightmare starts the moment the Malacca Strait closes. This tiny channel is the absolute jugular vein of global trade, controlling 80% of East Asia's oil. The second a blockade slams shut, Singapore's transshipment hub flatlines instantly. China faces a catastrophic crisis as 10 million daily barrels of crude are trapped. Surveillance bases in the Nicobar Islands lock down the shipping lanes. Supertankers are violently forced into dangerous detours through Sunda and Lombok. Long-range radars scan the horizon, while anti-access batteries create lethal exclusion zones. Diego Garcia unleashes strategic bombers, stranding commercial ships in holding zones. The massive Australian detour shatters global supply chains. Command convenes an emergency briefing as cyber attacks blind automated docks. Nuclear submarines stalk deep ocean trenches, and carrier strike groups establish total dominance. Electronic warfare blankets the strait in heavy jamming, trapping tankers in shallow waters. Overlapping air defenses turn the sky into a combat zone. Aegis shields activate as day zero ends, plunging global markets into unprecedented panic. By week 1, maritime interdiction sweeps expand across the eastern Indian Ocean. Patrol aircraft drop dense sonobuoy fields to track submerged contacts in real time, while long-range cruise missiles test fleet air defense perimeters. Singapore's container terminals sit completely idle following the cancellation of maritime insurance. Surveillance outposts on the Coco Islands relay task group telemetry, echoing historic energy embargoes. Quad naval assets integrate regional bases into a unified picket line, allowing carrier battle groups to maneuver into deep-water launch sectors. However, task forces burn through expensive multi-million-dollar interceptors just to neutralize cheap drone swarms, rapidly depleting inventories. Beneath the surface, attack submarines operate quietly along the 90 East Ridge, while halted crude imports force factory blackouts. Subsea data cables face immediate sabotage risks, and cyber attacks disrupt automated port networks, leaving cargo manifests frozen worldwide. This locks both military commands into a high-attrition standoff as combat warning perimeters expand across the sea, consuming years of munitions production in days, and hardening into a permanent energy siege across the region. As the crisis deepens, overland pipelines through Pakistan and Myanmar operate at maximum capacity, yet replace only a fraction of lost imports. Supertankers forced onto the long southern detour around Australia burn extra fuel, causing price shocks that destabilize global chokepoints from Hormuz to the Red Sea. International maritime law collapses under wartime rules as regional airfields open to Allied logistics transports while coastal radar networks monitor sovereign territorial limits. Deployed task groups consume immense fuel and munitions daily. Regional shipyards transition to emergency repair shifts, but semiconductor shortages begin to stall defense assembly lines. Industrial hubs struggle to accelerate missile production as tanker losses outpace shipyard capacity. With precision stockpiles rapidly draining, commanders are forced to ration advanced munitions, pivoting towards smart acoustic minefields and uncrewed underwater systems. High-altitude drones eliminate surface fleet stealth, as damage reports document mounting losses among escort combatants. Satellite networks feed real-time coordinates to coastal launchers. Both sides observe conventional limits, avoiding strategic nuclear arms while a containment line stabilizes. Industrial stamina becomes the decisive factor of national power as oil shortages inflict severe inflation across every major global market. Supply chains remain completely shattered, exhausting military and economic reserves, forcing nations into a permanent strategic stalemate. Entering month 2, historic energy price spikes plunge dependent nations into deep industrial recessions. Global financial markets face severe turmoil as manufacturing hubs implement mandatory power cuts. Emergency directives redirect industrial capacity strictly toward naval defense production. In response to skyrocketing charter rates, shipping lines completely abandon the Malacca route, while domestic networks rush munitions to forward staging bases. Docks operate non-stop repairing battle-damaged destroyers, while guarded merchant convoys move under heavy escort. Neutral states adjust trade policies to survive the energy shock as international banks freeze trade financing across contested waters. Singapore Strait radars sweep surrounding waters on maximum alert, while deep-water hydrophone arrays along the Sunda Trench monitor subsea movements. Logistics staging hubs in Australia and Diego Garcia expand rapidly to anchor theater supply lines. Shallow water mine clearing faces heavy danger from drone swarms, freezing the front line into a tactical deadlock against coastal missile umbrellas. Industrial models prove national endurance depends on steel, energy reserves, and GDP weight. Economic losses reach hundreds of billions in lost trade. Forcing convoys through defended straits proves completely impossible. Satellites maintain non-stop surveillance over every sea lane. Strategic oil reserves deplete at catastrophic rates worldwide. Both coalitions entrench deep into their fortified positions. Day 60 ends with the blockade locked in total standoff. Long-term economic projections prove that broad trade alliances systematically outweigh isolated wartime powers, whose massive industrial base offsets heavy convoy escort demands, while adversaries face rapid precision missile depletion. The war shifts into an industrial race of shipyard construction, sustained by open ocean replenishment lines, despite severe maintenance backlogs, radar degradation, and extreme gun barrel wear. Allied counter-battery strikes suppress coastal missile batteries across designated Malacca sectors, reopening guarded energy lanes in the Indian Ocean, supported by hardened forward operating bases and restored corridors across the Bay of Bengal. Contested patrol zones stabilize as fortified island radar installations survive heavy standoff strikes, while mounting combat casualties and runaway global inflation trigger severe shipping delays and consumer surcharges. Confronting total economic exhaustion, strategic priorities pivot from naval blockade toward diplomatic ceasefire negotiations hosted in Singapore, freezing maritime lines of contact into demilitarized buffer corridors under multilateral security dialogue. Formal ceasefire protocols establish strict regional observer zones, exposing the hard limits of naval power against physical geography. In Singapore, diplomats finalize a landmark security treaty establishing demilitarized commercial transit corridors across Southeast Asia, mandating a strategic naval drawdown where combat fleets withdraw beyond coastal ranges, allowing supertankers to safely resume East Asian oil deliveries under international inspection teams. This breakthrough reshapes global trade frameworks and security pacts, securing regional transit corridors while permanently driving naval escort budgets and rotational task force deployments to reconstruct resilient supply chains and restore historical shipping lanes. The crisis proves subsea drone swarms and anti-ship missiles have rewritten narrow strait warfare, forcing naval deterrence models to absorb massive economic fallout before trade routes and freight rates fully stabilize. As global supply networks adapt, the conflict highlights the unyielding triad of energy choke points, naval geography, and industrial stamina, proving that the catastrophic economic shock demands permanent maritime deterrence to keep international waters open. The Malacca choke point, 2026 energy blockade. The data proves the cost.